When TXT's Yeonjun released his highly anticipated solo debut, Ggum, reactions from both fans and critics were immediate, and they couldn't have been more divided. As soon as the song dropped on September 19, 2024, the internet was flooded with polarized responses. While some hailed it as a revolutionary track that cements Yeonjun's status as the it boy of fourth-generation K-pop, others weren't as enthusiastic, questioning its musicality and impact. Yeonjun has long been known as the multifaceted performer of TXT, and with Ggum, he finally stepped out on his own. The solo debut was highly anticipated, not just because of his reputation, but due to his extensive involvement in the project. Fans were eager to see how his talents would manifest in a solo venture. The song itself is an eclectic mix of genres, blending electro beats with high-pitched vocal hooks. Yeonjun's voice is modulated throughout the track, adding a synthetic texture that is both distinctive and somewhat polarizing. Fans praised the song's boldness and uniqueness, noting how it encapsulates Yeonjun's creative spirit and his status as a trendsetter within the K-pop industry. The song's eclectic nature, combined with Yeonjun's undeniable charisma, struck a chord with a large portion of his fanbase, MOA, celebrating his ability to challenge K-pop norms. Within hours of the release, Twitter lit up with a flood of opinions. Fans were quick to defend Yeonjun, celebrating the song's success on multiple streaming platforms. Many shared detailed stats showing Ggum hitting #1 on iTunes charts in multiple countries and trending on YouTube globally. These achievements were seen as a validation of Yeonjun's immense popularity and influence. One fan tweeted, "Seeing the haters' comments just makes me laugh because that is literally the point of the song. Y'all can keep talking and chewing on his name. At the end of the day, Yeonjun is still gonna be famous, talented, and successful." However, not all reactions were favorable. The song's experimental production, particularly the high-pitched chorus, received backlash. Critics claimed that the track felt repetitive and relied too heavily on production gimmicks rather than showcasing Yeonjun's raw vocal talent. Some fans even compared the song unfavorably to earlier, more polished solo debuts by idols like BTS's Jungkook, emphasizing the disappointment. What many listeners may not realize is Yeonjun's deep involvement in the creation of Ggum. He played a significant role in the vocal performance, overall concept, production, and choreography. In interviews, Yeonjun shared that he wanted to use this solo debut to push boundaries, both for himself and for K-pop as a whole. He aimed to highlight his artistic vision, rather than rely on traditional formulas. While many admired this ambition, the song's reception highlighted the risks of such an approach. Solo debuts in K-pop are notoriously tricky, especially when an idol is still part of a larger group. For Yeonjun, the expectations were especially high given his standing as TXT's most versatile performer. The song's experimental nature, in some ways, served as a double-edged sword. It pushed creative boundaries but alienated some listeners who were hoping for something more traditional. Among K-pop reviewers and critics, reactions were equally divided. Some praised Yeonjun's ambition, calling the track a brave foray into uncharted territory. They acknowledged that the song was a bold statement, blending styles not commonly seen in K-pop. However, others were less forgiving. Reviewers on platforms like the Bias List commented that while the song was catchy, it lacked depth, describing it as cringeworthy and overproduced. A recurring criticism was that the song did not fully showcase Yeonjun's natural vocal ability, with his voice being heavily modulated throughout. This was a disappointment to some, who expected more from such a highly anticipated debut. There were also comparisons to other successful solo debuts, with critics noting that Ggum didn't live up to the expectations set by idols from groups like BTS or EXO. Despite the harsh critiques, MOA's, Yeonjun's loyal fanbase, stood by him. On platforms like Twitter and Weverse, they defended Yeonjun's right to experiment as an artist. Many fans felt that the backlash was unwarranted and rooted in unrealistic expectations. Some suggested that K-pop fans are often quick to criticize when an idol tries something new, preferring them to stick to familiar formulas. Interestingly, the polarized reactions to Ggum led to a broader conversation within the K-pop fandom about innovation versus fan service. Should idols stick to what works, or do they have a responsibility to push creative boundaries? For many fans, Yeonjun represents a new generation of idols who are unafraid to take creative risks, even if it means dividing their audience. Culturally, Ggum reflects the evolving nature of K-pop. The track, with its viral-ready hooks and experimental production, seems perfectly designed for platforms like TikTok, where short, catchy clips thrive. This strategic appeal to social media culture has led to speculation that Yeonjun's solo debut is as much about adapting to the digital age as it is about musical experimentation. The song's mixed reception also highlights the immense pressure idols face when they step out as solo artists. In Yeonjun's case, the expectations were amplified by his position as a leading figure in TXT. TXT. His willingness to challenge expectations demonstrates a key tension in K-pop, balancing artistic vision with fan expectations. In the end, Ggum has achieved exactly what Yeonjun likely intended. It has sparked conversation. Whether you love it or hate it, the track has forced fans and critics alike to engage in deeper discussions about the future of K-pop, the role of idols, and the delicate balance between artistic innovation and commercial success. For Yeonjun, this solo debut marks a significant step in his career. As one fan succinctly put it, "At the end of the day, Yeonjun is still gonna be famous, talented, and successful." Ultimately, Ggum is a bold and risky artistic statement, one that, despite its mixed reception, further establishes Yeonjun as a pioneering figure in fourth-gen K-pop.